supporting you in your dog parenting journey. The Dynamic Dog Owner with Debbie Potter.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Dynamic Dog Owner, the podcast designed to support you, the dog parent, in your dog parenting journey. Now, if you are a regular listener and you actually listen to us on headphones, you won't notice anything different about this week's episode. However, if you listen to us on YouTube, you will notice that I have a new background. So this week I've set up a little scene, a nice little space for me to record so that it looks a little bit more nice on YouTube. So hopefully you like it. Any feedback, anything you want me to include in my little setup, that would be fabulous. And obviously it's the first time me using it, so it may well change over the next few episodes, just as I get used to it and settle into my new comfy armchair and obviously work out where the microphone's got to be, etc. So bear with me if it's not amazing and it changes over the next few weeks. Hopefully you guys are all well. This week on the podcast, we are going to be talking about guilt. Now, I think everyone knows that guilt comes as part of life. We always feel like we're not doing enough, we're not giving enough, we're not enough. And I think that's quite normal, don't you think? Obviously, I know being a mum as well, you get mum guilt. I'm sure dads get dad guilt, dog owners get dog owner guilt. I feel a huge amount of guilt when it comes to my dogs. I always feel like I'm not giving them enough. And often it's my husband saying to me, don't be daft, you're doing all right. But I feel guilty. And I'm sure sort of you guys do too. Various reasons, but it may be that you don't feel like you walk them enough, you don't give them enough opportunity, you can't train them enough. Whatever it may be, food, there's so many things we can be guilty about. But I think, we have to kind of take check and kind of go, doing my best. I'm doing what I can do right now for my dogs. And that is quite tricky. I think that's quite hard because naturally we do always want to do the best. Most of us, everyone listening to this podcast, I'm sure you're all love dog owners, you're dog lovers. You didn't get a dog to have it to just have it like there in the house. You got it because you wanted it and you wanted to give it the best life possible. And naturally, therefore, we strive to be the best dog owner we can be. And therefore, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, to get everything right. But we know we know we can't. So what kind of things do you feel guilty about? What kind of things have you felt guilty about? I know one of the big things for me is I always feel guilty that my dogs don't get enough exercise. They don't get enough experience. And I think that, like you guys probably listening, everyone's got their own stuff going on, their own lifestyles, their own jobs, everything's happening. For me, it's that obviously as a dog trainer, I spend a lot of my time out of the house training other people's dogs. I spend less amount of time with my dogs than I'd actually like to because I'm helping other people with their own dogs. It's a little bit like everyone always says, like builders have always got an unfinished project at home, haven't they? Supposedly. It's something you do for a job. You don't necessarily want to do when you get home. And I think that's kind of me, I am busy at work, obviously earning money because I need money to support my life and my dogs. Then I'm having to be mum to my human children. And then naturally, dogs don't get as much as I'd like them to. I'd like to be able to take them all out for beautiful long countryside walks every day. I'd like to be able to train them all every day. I'd like to be able to go to 1,000,001 classes with them. I just don't have the time. And that for me is a big source of mum guilt. And I often think about, is it my fault because I haven't been able to give them, especially Fred, the youngest, as much time as I would like to have given him? And probably the answer is yeah, but it's just circumstantial. I can't change it. I cannot change what's happened in the past. I cannot change my lifestyle over the last few years and pressures that have been in place as a family. Therefore, I can't change it. But it doesn't stop me feeling guilty. So what do you guys feel guilty about? Is it that you can't afford to feed them the best food you want to feed them? Is it that you feel guilty because you have to go to work and leave your dog at home? That for me is a big one. I'd love to be able to bring my dogs to work with me every day, but I'm normally with clients and it just wouldn't work. And they just end up sitting in the office or sitting in the van all day, which isn't fair. I'm really lucky my dogs don't actually get left home alone. There's always 90% of the time, it's always someone home. So they're rarely on their own. They're quite lucky in that aspect. You might feel guilty that you can't walk them as far as you want to. You don't take them on holiday with you. Whatever the reason is, I think we all just need to realise And obviously it's easy to say this, right? I'm saying it here. I don't always believe it myself, and I need someone to tell me that we're doing all right. We're doing the best we can. And our dogs are really happy. They don't know any different. Obviously, if you've got behavioural issues, if you've got training issues, then yes, of course, you're going to have to prioritise training and walking and spending more time with them. But if your dog's all right and there's nothing major that you need to work on, like my guys, there's things I'd like to tweak and fine tune, sure. But there's nothing major that causes a massive issue living with them. They're all right. They're fine. They are happy. They are very, how do you tell? I'm pretty damn sure my dogs are happy. They're always very pleased to see me. I think they would like me home more because whenever I am home, they're all glued to me. As if saying, Mum, why do you keep going out? If you're not at work, you're going out with a child. They love nothing more than me being home on a Sunday and just not going out and snuggling up on the sofa with me. Rem almost pins me to the sofa and sits on top of me going, oh, this is lovely, you're here, don't go out. But again, I think it's quite normal. It's quite normal for us to always feel like we're not giving enough. And I say it's quite normal. I think we all feel guilty. We all feel like we should be giving more. But sometimes we don't need to give more. Just being and coexisting with our dog is actually enough. It's enough for us to just coexist with them and be at one. I feel guilty sometimes. I don't have a very big garden. My dogs would love a big garden, but they don't have one. Do they know any different? No. Do they care? Who knows? They get to go out for walks. They get to go and run elsewhere. Why do we put so much pressure on ourselves? And then obviously I think we get judged as well. I think that's a big thing in this modern world. We do get a lot of judgment, which then obviously links to the guilt aspect. All you've got to do these days is open up your social media app and suddenly you're filled with a world where other people are doing so much more with their dog than you are. Other people are going out for lots of walks. Other people are taking their dogs to classes, taking their dogs on these amazing hikes, buying their dog all this stuff. Therefore, you're naturally disposed to go, I don't do that with my dog. I'm a bad dog mum because I don't have everything for my dog. I don't have a YouTube channel for my dog. I don't have an Instagram account for my dog. I don't have all these things and everybody else is living their best life. But what we've got to remember is most of the time, that's a snippet. It's a snippet of time that we see. It's not real. It's not real life. You know, even your massive influencers, like personal influencers, not just dog influencers, they are not sharing every single thing they do online with you. They choose what to share. And I think that's the same with dog people. I know for myself, do I share pictures of my dogs being arseholes? No, because normally I'm not taking pictures of them. You only ever tend to take a picture of your dog when they're looking really cute. And then you go, oh, aren't they lovely? You take a picture, you post it on Instagram. You don't post, oh, look at my dog. He's been an absolute monster today. I've been tearing my hair out. Look what the puppy's done. We don't share that stuff. And maybe we should normalise it so that everyone doesn't feel as guilty. Because I think we're always trying to live up to the expectations of other people, the expectations of everyone else. People feel guilty because they don't let their dog off lead. You can have just as great life with your dog without letting them off the lead. But because everybody else lets them off the lead, everybody else does this, everybody else does that, we feel like we should too. And we really don't need to. We really don't need to worry about what everyone else does. We just need to worry about ourselves. So have a think about, what do you feel guilty about? And just rationalise it in your head. Why am I feeling like this? Is there a reason for it? Can I change how guilty I'm feeling? And therefore start to enjoy life with your dog a little bit more. You do what you can do. If you can't take them to classes every week, so what? If you go to a workshop once every month, once every few months, brilliant. If you never take your dog to a dog training class, does it actually affect their life? No. I mean, I look back, Leo, my first dog, who I've mentioned on the podcast, minimal really, because, you know, he died like 7 years ago. But I had him from when I was 21 up until my kids were little. So he was with me for a lot of stuff. He was a rehomed dog. Never took him to a dog training class in his life. Never. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. I didn't know any better. Equally, he wasn't a dog that needed it. And I think that's a big thing. He didn't need training. He was just a general placid, happy dog. He didn't have any big issues. He didn't cause me any problems. I didn't ever need to take him to training. But now I go, gosh, if only I'd known then what I know now, I could have brought him to classes. I could have taught him things, not from necessity, but from enjoyment. I didn't know it back then. I do know it now. And would I have done stuff differently? Hell yes. I had no kids when we had him for like the first 4 years. I had no kids. I could have done so much with him. But I didn't know it was a thing. I assumed the only things you did with dogs was agility, and obedience, getting them to behave if there was an issue. I didn't know any better. The world of dogs and dog training hadn't been opened up to me. And I think a lot of people are like that, actually. Maybe we'll do an episode on different dog things you can do. Because there's so much more out there. You just don't know. And I think that is really common still today, that people don't know what else is available for their dogs and them and their dogs. Because there is so much on offer, so much available for every dog, whether it is a excitable dog, a dog that needs a little bit more input, a calm, relaxed, happy dog. There's so many sports and activities we can try. We just need to know they're there. And again, we don't. Do I feel bum guilt about that? Of course I do. I go, gosh, if only I'd known. Leo could have been more confident, could have had more enjoyment in his life. But I didn't know it back then. And I can't beat myself up about that. And it's something actually a lot of people say to us when they come to training. They say, oh, if only I'd known this sooner. I feel such a bad dog mum or dog parent because I didn't know any of this. So how have I had dogs for the last 20 years and not known it? You only know what you know at the time, and you can only work with the information you have at the time. Don't beat yourself up. You can only do what's best for your dog at that moment in time. And if that is, right now, my dogs don't get that many walks. They don't have a big garden. They don't get to go on holiday with me. They don't get to go to classes because I can't afford it. That's okay. They're happy at home with you. You get to play with them in the garden. They get to cuddle you on the sofa. It's okay to give your dog what you can give them in that moment in time and to not compare yourselves to others. Again, we've talked about comparing before. All these topics have come up in the podcast previously in lots of different ways, but we don't have to compare ourselves to others. We don't have to worry about what everybody else is doing. We just have to worry about whether our dog is happy in their life and that we're happy with how the relationship is and how our life is. Because that's, again, a really important factor. It's not just about your dog being happy. You've got to be happy in your relationship too. And then if you can kind of say, me and my dog are happy, then we don't need to feel guilt. We don't need to feel that we're not the best dog parent we can be. And obviously, as I said, I'm telling you this rationally. I know this. Rationally, I know my dogs have a good life. I know they get lots of opportunity. But I always want more. And there's elements of life that I would like to change. I think all my dogs are really lucky. They get to sleep on the sofa. They get to sleep on the bed. They have free access to the house. They're rarely left on their own. I should be like, they're all right. But I still go, I'd like to give them this. I know personally for me, I don't give them enough walks. That's just my life and the challenges and the other barriers I have in my life at the moment that make that a thing. In the past, they had more walks. In the future, they'll have more walks. They get really good walks when I'm on holiday. But right now, sometimes rather than just taking them to the field and letting them have a run around, actually going out for a nice, decent walk, I don't have the opportunity to do. And that's just how it is. Again, do my dogs care? I don't think they really care. They're quite happy doing what they're doing. We have this picture perfect life of what dogs should do, and then we put guilt on ourselves. Again, rationally, I know this. And sometimes I need someone to say to me, it's okay, your dog doesn't mind, you're doing the best, your dogs are happy, you're doing what you can do, they're luckier than other dogs. And sometimes we just need that reality check, right? So hopefully this has given you it. You don't need to feel guilty about the things you don't do with your dogs or the things you do with your dogs. You do what's right for them and what's right for you. If you can't feed the most expensive food, but your dog enjoys their food and it's okay food and they enjoy their meal, you can afford it, they're getting fed. That's important. It doesn't have to be the new fancy, all singing, all dancing thing. If another dog's got the best, most expensive toy on the market and yours plays with an old pair of socks with a knot in it, that's cool. Your dog's well happy. It kind of reminds me of when you talk about kids getting presents and they're more interested in the box. We have this idea that they need all these things. They don't. Yes, somebody else has got the brand new drying coat available from this person or this fancy coat. Your dog hasn't. Who cares? Does it really matter? I think we live in an age of FOMO, really, don't we? FOMO is everywhere. You've got the fear of missing out, or the fearing of you're always comparing. There's a couple of brands at the moment, and it kind of feels like I'm not on the bandwagon because I don't have one of their products. I don't need it. I wouldn't use it, but there's an element of me that goes, I really need to buy that because everyone else has got one, and me and my dogs must be missing out because we don't have this. Which is ridiculous, right? Because I'm never going to use it. It's not something I would use, but everyone else has one. Everywhere you go, you're like, oh, there's one. Oh, there's one. Do I need it? No. Am I tempted to buy it? Yes. Because I don't want to not be the only one without one. But I don't need it. So I think that's something we have to kind of just take in. We always live looking at what other people are doing. I think this day and age more than ever, we didn't have it when I was growing up. We didn't have all of the comparing and the social media and it in your face. Younger people, it's all they've known now. But we don't have to meet the expectations of what we see online. Everyone is different. So if you're feeling guilty about your relationship with your dog, write a little thing of why they're so lucky. Why is your dog the luckiest dog in the world? What do you give them? What do you do for them? And focus on that list rather than but I don't do this list. Because I'm 99% sure everyone listening, your pros list of all the things you do with your dog is going to be 1,000 times longer. Maybe not 1,000, because I don't know if you've got 1,000 things, but it's going to definitely, the stuff you do with your dogs, the stuff you give them, the things that make them happy, that is definitely going to be longer than I wish that I don't do this enough, because you do a good job. You are enough for your dog and you don't need to feel guilty. So hopefully that's helped a little bit. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, I have a little favour to ask, and I don't ask this often enough. If you enjoy listening, please share it with somebody, another dog owner. Say, oh, have you listened to this? If there's an episode you've enjoyed, just ping it to a friend, share it on social media, ping it on WhatsApp, whatever, however. And if you would be kind enough to leave us a review, that would be incredible so that we can help our podcast get out to more dog owners and help them get the best from their dog parenting journey too. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to The Dynamic Dog Owner with me, Debbie Potter. See you next time.